Okay, I know most of us, well probably all of us, have lied before throughout like our whole lives. And I have this quote here, it says, people need good lies, there are too many bad ones. Well, I think that's true because there are so many common lies throughout like our lives that we use. Like if you want to go to work, like you say, oh, I don't feel good, like that's like the most common like work lie, or like, oh, I don't want to school because I feel sick, but truly we're not. And for example, like Donald Trump for his election would like go into an interview and say one thing and like say another thing but like lie about it. And there's just so many common lies throughout like what we use, and I feel like we need better like good lies. But I'm not saying like lies are like a good thing to use, but it's just gonna like, it needs to be more consistent of what we say because it's just gonna follow up with us, and like people are gonna like not start to believe it because of how many common lies there are. And so that's my
Well, I thought you actually had a nice introduction and you transitioned to the topic pretty well, so you had a good start, but then things sort of just went downhill after that. There's not really a structure, so when you start talking, you're just randomly thinking of things that people lie about without having thought about, well, what's the point of my talking about this? Where's there a good example that I can point to and make it interesting and talk about it a little bit? What's my personal reflection on this? How does it illustrate the point that I'm talking about? Instead, it's just, well, here's one, and 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 you're going to run out that way. And that's exactly what happened. You ran out of time. You barely made it to a minute in your presentation. It's 1 minute and 6 seconds. So there's not really much opportunity to evaluate a lot of things in your presentation when it comes to content, because there wasn't that much content to it. You start off from the very beginning with kind of a defensive position. I know that you're a little anxious. You were surprised about the amount of time that you had to prepare. You're asking us out loud, why did I decide to do this? And you just set up this whole example. I'm going to be a walking billboard for nervousness. And then you decide to fulfill that because you kind of wrap yourself up with your arms when you're talking, and your feet get nervous, and you've got look, you've got a natural smile, but you're using it to kind of cover up some anxiety sorts of issues. You're looking at us, but it's almost like defensively. Instead of trying to engage us, it's kind of like you're pulling back from us, even though you are looking at us, and that seems very awkward. You need to relax a little bit, talk to us, think about the point that you're trying to make. Don't rush yourself through the speech. Give yourself a chance to think a little bit about some of the points that you're talking about. Take a deep breath whenever you feel a little bit anxious. Don't be afraid to maybe pause here and there and get more control over what's going. I think you let the adrenaline get a hold of you and kind of rush you through the presentation. And I thought you had good examples. You just need to talk about them a little bit and make a point out of them. And if you'd done that, even if the speech wasn't substantially longer, it would feel more like it was a speech rather than it was just, a flash explosion and then I'm done. You got to have a little bit more control there. All right, thank you.